What is going on, you beautiful people? Welcome back to Not So Pro Football Talk. We got the whole crew here today. We got myself, Reed, and Vince once again. So you already know it's going to be a good show. And it seems like we're getting blessed every Monday, you guys. It seems like the past 3 weeks, 3 Mondays, we'll be getting some like blockbuster news around the NFL. And of course, today, biggest news of them all is Jonathan Taylor, right? And now I'm super excited to talk about that. Man, there's some more news going around. So while we wait for some more people to join us here live, I do want to say that there's some rumors going around, but the other big name running back, I'm talking about Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs is rumored to come back, quit his holdouts before week 1 starts. Now, how big is this for the Las Vegas Raiders? This is huge. And I have a theory, and I want to tell you all my theory after I get y'all's opinion here.
The news is huge. He was one of the biggest parts of that offense last year. The passing game, rushing game, he was everywhere. And the biggest thing for having him back is that downgraded from Derek Carr, in my opinion, to Jimmy Garoppolo. You just don't know exactly what you're going to get out of Jimmy Garoppolo. And I think having him back sets a tone. I would hope it makes Devontae Adams a little bit happy. You would think having a guy like that back in the locker room. But I'm really interested in what made him go to this decision of, hey, I'm holding out, to, hey, I'm going to cave in. Maybe talks have gotten better, like they're working towards a deal potentially. I'm interested to know why he has decided to finally come back from what the report has said.
Yeah, I don't think he's like 100% happy, but I think he just misses football is the main thing. Of course, he wants to get paid a bunch of money, but I don't know the Raiders organization as well as the Colts organization that we're going to talk about right now too. They just don't want to pay their running backs, and it's a little bit of a red flag. So I feel like right now Josh Jacobs just wants to get past this year. He's like, let's play football, let's get back to the nitty gritty, let's go make some plays, and let's go get a big contract after this year because I mean they franchise tagged him, but I don't think they'll do it again next year. We'll see.
I think almost every running back wants to get out of this year, right? They want this year done and over with. And I do have a crazy theory when it comes to Josh Jacobs. And by the way, yes, we are going to get into Jonathan Taylor. I see that's a thumbnail, but I did want to address this real quick. The biggest star coming out of the preseason, do y'all know who it is? No? Yes? It is Aiden O'Connell. Aiden O'Connell, the QB, rookie QB that the Las Vegas Raiders took, and he is looking phenomenal out there in the field. He smoked the Niners week 1 of the preseason, and week 2 he did just as good. He looks legit. My theory is that Josh Jacobs was like, "Oh hell no, I'm not going to play this because I want to get all the workload, right? Jimmy G can't throw for crap. They're gonna run the ball 24/7." And now he sees this young, talented stud that could possibly take out Jimmy G as a starter. Hopefully, maybe, I don't know. We'll see. But I feel like he has some type of spark of hope when it comes to this season, as far as allowing him to look good at the same time and not being overworked for just a franchise tag. Big Money Joe says the long-term RB contract is the thing of the past. It kind of seems that way, right? It kind of seems that way. But let's see what happens when Jonathan Taylor finds his new home. Smoke the Niners' second and third string defense. Yeah, you're 100% right, Big Money. It was painful for me to watch, and I did watch the whole thing. Yes, he did smoke the Niners' second and third and fourth string. We sat out a lot of second strings as well. So I will cut a little bit of slack there. And, new defensive coordinator with the Niners, still trying to adjust. But I'm not trying to make it too many excuses for the Niners. They're going to be one hell of a team coming up this season. But let's talk about Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor, Jim Irsay, right? Jonathan Taylor and Jim Irsay. A couple months ago, or a month ago now, right?
I
A
think
month
it's just
ago.
been a few weeks.
Has it just been a few weeks?
Yeah,
I
I
felt like
think
it's
it's been
been a
like
month already.
3 weeks at most.
Few
Yeah.
weeks.
Yeah.
Okay, let's say 3 weeks, right? Jim Mercy is like, you know what? Let me have a come here. Let me have a little conversation with you, JT. Listen, this is my team, and this is how we're going to do things. All right, you understand? You're going to get the damn ball, you're going to run it, and you're going to get paid whatever I pay you. Understand? And JT was like, I want to trade. And so this whole thing happened where Jim Irsay's coming out saying, "There's no way, Jose, that we're trading Jonathan Taylor. He's a co, and he will always be a co." And Jonathan Taylor's not in practice, not playing. It's kind of a messy situation. That today we got a bombshell of news. Reed, what is that news?
The Colts have finally given Jonathan Taylor permission to go seek a trade. And from what we've heard so far, there's a lot to unpack there, but there's a few teams potentially interested, and they're talking to. Whether any of that actually happens, I'm a little bit doubtful, though.
Okay,
Really?
whether that happens, I think if you're a team that wants to contend, that wants to compete, you have to at least throw your hat in the ring, right? You have to go out there and at least acquire about Jonathan Taylor. But we did hear news from his agent saying that he is not going to be cheap. Big Money Joe says JT to the Fins. Big Money, why are you ruining my topics today? Huh? We're at a good steady pace, and now you just want to like ram right through the nitty gritty of what I really wanted to talk about. I didn't want to talk about Jonathan Taylor. I didn't want to talk about Josh Jacobs, the Colts, Jim Irsay. I didn't want to talk about them. I wanted to talk about my boy, the roller coaster of a story, Devon. I've been calling him a Kane. It's not a Kane.
Is it a Shane?
It's a chain.
A chain.
A chain.
Shane?
I was listening to the Pat
A-Chain.
McAfee show this morning, and they kept saying that's the coolest name we ever heard. He's an Aggie, right? So he was like, "It's Devon A. Chain," and I was like, "That is a pretty cool name, you know." And how cool would it be if it was like, he is a running back, right? I don't know if y'all seen the Boys, the show, but A Train, fast guy, A Chain. I think it's super cool. Anyways, so the roller coaster of a ride. He is my biggest fantasy sleeper when it comes to this fantasy football season. And I'm super excited because everyone's overlooking him. You really think he's not going to outperform Raheem Mostert, Jeff Wilson Jr.? Love those guys, but you know what? You got a young speedster, healthy guy. He is undersized. I understand that, but look at the way the Dolphins are using their running backs, right? It's the Niner way. It really is. And you ram him through, and that's probably why he got injured already. But it seems like his injury is not as serious. And then right after we got that news, it seems like the Dolphins are extremely interested in Jonathan Taylor, right? We saw them have some sort of interest when it came to Dalvin Cook, but he was set in stone going to the Vikings. I mean, the Jets. We all knew that, right? And I would hate for Jonathan Taylor to go with the Dolphins, and A-Chain is my reason why. But I know Vince has a lot to say about this topic, so Vince, let's hear it from you.
Hey man, that's the only reason I brought that comment up so fast as soon as Big Money Joe posted it is because I also think that JT to the Fins is the most probable trade. Just hey, what's up, Gabe? But yeah, look right here. Who wouldn't want to go to Miami from Indy? I mean, Indy has a nice big super mall over there, but Miami's got everything you need from the hot weather, the beaches, the other word that rhymes with beaches. But yeah, so I think JT would have a great time in Miami. I just think that it's the most probable thing. They have a little bit of draft capital that they could persuade Indy to trade him. I know that AJ just told us right now that they're wanting somewhere, or did you say it yet? I don't know if you said it yet about
No,
what
we
they
have
want
not
in
said
their
it
trade.
yet.
No. Okay, I'll spill the beans.
Okay.
There's a rumor that Indianapolis wants at least a first rounder or something that adds up to a first round for Jonathan Taylor in a trade. So peaches, yes. Now that's the great orange state right there. Then tangerines. But I don't know. I just feel like Miami is due for a nice trade. I know they already got what's his name, that cornerback that we all love, Jalen Ramsey. So they got him, but now they need to get something on the offensive side. And last year their running back room was about the same, and it was not the best in the NFL. So I think they're definitely still looking for a running back, and this one is just the cherry on top. going right into is it the fourth week of the preseason already or third week?
The third week.
Third
and
week,
final.
yeah. So I think by the end of the fourth week, if
There's
he's
no
not
fourth
a
week.
Miami, oh yeah, that's right. You're
Yeah.
right. They did do away with that. If he's not a Dolphin by the end of next week, I don't think it's going to go through. But we'll see what happens. I think the most probable thing is JT stays with Indy. I think right now they're just letting him like test it out, see what they can get, because he's super unhappy. So he really doesn't want to be playing there right now. So. But yeah, I think the most probable thing besides him staying in Indy is going with the Miami Dolphins. I think they're up for it. I think they would want him there, and they would roll out the red carpet for him. So, just my opinion.
Where else would he go? If you're a talented free agent,
I got two teams I think that could potentially be interested.
Okay, go ahead.
So if it's not the Miami is the most obvious choice, and I think they're going to be the most aggressive if they are going to try to get him. But I think the Nets team is going to be Baltimore. I know they have
J.K. Dobbins.
J.K. Dobbins, and is Gus Edwards still on the team?
Edwards.
So those guys are their go-to guys, but also we've seen what, as far as health-wise, what those guys are, I think, in my opinion. And I think they would love to add a ground and pound guy like JT to the team. And my third team that would be interested is the Dallas Cowboys. Tony Pollard, he's not 100% yet, from my understanding, for the start of the season. They lost Zeke. They have that really 4 foot tall running back.
Hey,
or
come
whatever.
on, bro.
He's 4 feet tall.
He's killing it.
He's
killing
killing
it. Name.
He's killing it, but is he going to be able to kill it against first team defenses, not the second and third string?
Hell yeah, he is.
I don't know about that. That 4 foot running back, I just don't know about him.
He's not 4 foot.
He's 4 feet, dude. Anyways, I think the Cowboys could be also interested. So if it's not the Dolphins, it's going to be the Baltimore or Dallas, in my opinion. Now, as far as any of that actually happening, I would be very surprised. A first rounder for Jonathan Taylor, and then you're not just trading him the picks. You got to then give him a big contract, because he's not going to go to a team or he's not going to play for a team that doesn't give him a big contract. Same problem where he is in Indianapolis. He's not playing. He's not showing up. He's showing up in just a hoodie and not talking to anybody in practice when he was at the Colts facility. You're trading him and giving him a long-term contract for big money. That is the only way you get JT. I don't know if that's fully worth it. Maybe Dolphins are just so desperate to compete in that very high-powered division that they are in. They end up doing it. And then I think they become the new Rams, in my opinion. Trading away picks for Tyreek Hill, trading away picks for Jalen Ramsey, trading away picks for JT. I think if they actually do it, I think they're new Rams, just trading away everything to go for a championship.
Well, you got to remember, before the Rams, it was the New Orleans Saints that did that. But I don't like those teams. I could see a way that happens, but we're going to the third week of the preseason games, and I think Dallas is solidified, right? These guys are fighting, and Deuce Vaughn, the 5'5" running back, who's absolutely killing it out there for Dallas. I think he's earned himself a name. I don't know about a roster spot yet. He needs to work on his blocking game. But the other, but you need to stop.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh my gosh! But also,
I want you to stand up, Reed.
But also, you got to remember, no running back wants to go to the Baltimore Ravens. No running back. So I think that's out of his interest, right? I think, yeah, it's cool to play with Lamar Jackson. The hype is still there. OBJ's over there. But for a year, I highly doubt they're going to give him a big contract, maybe some big time. I think he's going to get around what these recent running backs got, like an 8 to 6 mil. I think it's going to be right in the middle, around a 7 mil range as far as including incentives. But when you think about teams that JT will want to go to, because remember, he has options. He's playing his cards, right? He's not allowing Indianapolis to get any cards, because it's either I get traded to where I want to go, or I'm sitting out and I don't care how much money I lose. right? And then if you want to keep me for the next year, I'll do the exact same thing next year. That kind of seems like the route that he's going. I mean, these guys, they make so much money. It's not even a big issue for them. Two ideal teams that I would love to see him go to. One, it won't happen because they traded away their souls, which is the Cleveland Browns, right? I don't see him being a starter in Cleveland, but having a 1-2 punch where the Browns utilize two running backs very heavily. JT's specialty is a pass catching back, and he's really good at that. So you have two running backs that are around the same age, like Nick Chubb, grounding and pounding, and then you have JT. Another team I'm looking at is the Minnesota Vikings. They just lost Dalvin Cook, and for them to actually replace Dalvin Cook with someone like Jonathan Taylor, I think is extremely ideal for them, keeping them for a year or maybe two, and then totally boom, you flip it over, you get rid of Kirk Cousins, you get rid of JT, you start with a new team, new, young, talented team. Those are the teams I like.
Okay. As I said, I find it very hard to think that a team would want Jonathan Taylor. I don't like his on the field 2 years ago. He was great. Last year, not so much. And then also, with hearing everything that he did coming into training camp this year, of being like complete, just not caring about, not being a good teammate, having a hoodie on, standing away during practice, not doing anything, just being completely antisocial, clearly trying to protest his contract. I don't like it. I don't think a lot of teams will go, hey, that is a guy that we want to bring into our locker room. I don't think it's I would be very surprised if a team decided to, hey, we're going to trade away at least adds up to a first-round pick, and we're going to give him a contract and make this our franchise guy for the next 3 to 4 years. I would be very surprised to see it. Big Money Joe says him send him to Canadian League if he doesn't become a Niner.
Can you imagine having
JT?
Christian McCaffrey and JT in the same backfield?
There's no universe ever that will happen.
It's not going to happen.
Hey, man. Just saying. I mean, it's possible. It's possible. Do I see them doing it? No. Would it be awesome to see? Hell yeah, it would be awesome to see. Not in a business perspective, but it would be just awesome to see as a fan perspective.
For sure. If the salary cap didn't exist.
I'm sorry?
If the salary cap didn't exist.
Which it really doesn't.
It does.
But not at all. You don't have teams like the Cleveland Browns and Miami Dolphins and do what they do. No. But anyways, that's the biggest news that we've gotten today was about Jonathan Taylor. And we'll see what happens. It seems like something will happen fairly quick, or at least before the season starts. So we got 2 weeks to see where Jonathan Taylor lands and what he calls a new home. Right. And everyone kind of sees it. It's kind of like the Dalvin Cook. As of right now, it looks like Miami is going to be one of the top tier winners, which will help out that offense tremendously instead of relying heavily on such a young rookie running back, which would be great for him to learn behind. Kills him for fantasy completely and destroys my fantasy sleeper of the year. But it'll be a good team for him to join. I mean, you have a stacked offense, and the really concern there, besides running back at the moment, is your QB, right? Tua Tagovailoa. That is a huge concern. I guess until I don't know. I don't have anything else on that topic unless something sparks up. So while we have Big Money Joe here, he's a Niners fan, and there's been a rumor going around. And that rumor is kind of hard to believe, but at the same time, not so hard to believe.
I know what it is.
Yeah?
It has to be about Joey Bosa being a racist, right? That's the rumor?
Joey Bosa being a racist? Nowadays, you can't even claim people to be racist, Reese.
I don't know, man.
We don't want to get canceled here.
Okay.
But he probably is. Okay, so the rumor is, okay, the facts first. Minnesota Vikings, right? The Minnesota Vikings just made a move. They officially signed former XFL QB Jordan Ta'amu. I think I'm saying that right. Te amo mucho. He was probably one of the top rated quarterbacks in the XFL. I watched him. He's a very talented individual. So the Minnesota Vikings just signed him. And also the rumor is the Minnesota Vikings called up and got some info because they're interested in a Trey Lance. That's the rumor there. I want to hear y'all's side first. Tell me, what do you think about this rumor?
And, I mean, I think they're definitely starting to look. Big Money Joe says Bosa races against opposing quarterbacks. That is, I would believe that one. That's 100% fact right there. 100% fact. As far as sorry, I lost my train of thought. As far as the Vikings, I think they're definitely starting to look this year on what their options are for next year. Kirk Cousins is only on the contract for one more year. They can choose to extend him. They can choose to bring him back, etc. Big Money Joe says, "Bye, Trey. He ain't crying about it. He ain't sad." I definitely think they are going to look at different options. Potentially trading for Aaron Rodgers. Who knows? Because that would be a very Viking thing to do. But I think they're going to look either at the draft. They're going to look at other quarterbacks they can trade for. Trey Lance being one of them. There's a few other guys out there that would be open, but I would be surprised. I don't know if Shanahan is currently willing to give him away for a cheap price. I'm not a Niner expert, but I would be very surprised if Shanahan has already decided, hey, we'll give him away for a 4th, 5th round. I would be very surprised about that because I think that's what he's potentially worth. Maybe a 2nd or 3rd. I would be surprised though.
With all this being said, the trade has to happen within this season, right?
Yes.
Because both Kirk Cousins not going to be not going to have any strings attached with the Vikings. As safety with Trey Lance, he's not going to have any strings attached with the Niners. So it's really up to the managers and how they run things. Says only was Trey scored a TD in the 4th quarter of the preseason game. Okay, so I am going to get into that right now. Cal Shanahan, obviously, I don't see him, trading Trey Lance for anything cheap, right? Because 1, his age, he's super young. 2 is Brock Purdy kind of ruined everything.
Yep.
He screwed everything up.
Yep.
And not a bad thing,
No.
right? But for Trey Lance's story,
Yes.
Brock Purdy decided to be a Superman and just come back early from his injury and absolutely killed it the first drive of preseason. Absolutely, he was 4 for 4, 76 yards, I believe. 4 for 4, 76 yards. He looked amazing out there. And Trey did horrible his first preseason game, so I think that's out the window. Second preseason game, it took him a few times to get why y'all? Oh, Polar's back.
Polar's back.
Polar's
read
back.
it. AJ, don't read it. Don't read it, AJ.
Why don't AJ make an effort like Prince and Reed and get that I know my shit look? What you want me? That's what is he talking about?
I don't know, man.
Oh my goodness. Well, anyways, but young Trey hairline. I can't stand Trey. He looks so uncomfortable in the pocket. He does, because that's really not his thing, and he has to learn, right? He has a lot to learn. He's so underdeveloped, and he missed the last 2 years of football. But this is why I could possibly see that happening, that trade mid-season. Because 1, ever since Cal Shanahan came to the Niners, he's like, I know my guy. My guy is Kirk Cousins. I want Kirk Cousins. I love Kirk Cousins. It's a well-known thing. Cal Shanahan, for whatever reason, loves Kirk. And by us having Kirk as a backup option, I wouldn't hate it. I'm not entirely against this rumor.
So the rumor you see is Kirk Cousins going to the Niners?
Yeah.
Oh.
Like part of that trade. Vikings are going out there looking into a trade, right? Let's say the Vikings are having a horrible season. Niners having a successful season. Vikings are like, hey, you know what? Let's start building for the future already. Let's get Trey. Let's get him ahead of time before everyone in the league has a chance to pick at Trey. Let's do our part. Let's trade for Kirk Cousins and let's finalize a long-term deal with Trey.
I would just be very confused as to why that would happen.
How would you be confused?
Well, Trey Lance he's not. This isn't his last year in his contract. He's a first-round pick, so he has at least, and he's a rookie. So that's his 4th year, right?
Next year will be his 4th year.
Yeah, so he's still
his 3rd, yeah.
which is different from Kirk Cousins. So I find it.
I don't think he will be available for the Niners next year.
Who?
Trey Lance.
Yeah, he'll be.
He's a first rounder.
He's a first rounder, so he has so this offseason, next offseason, you guys will either choose to pick up his 5th-year option or not. Every rookie deal is for 4 years.
All right. Well,
there's
still.
If you're drafted, undrafted people, then that's different. But anybody who's drafted, they get a 4-year contract. That is the CPA or whatever it's called. That is the rules, basically. Has to happen.
Well, then that'll make the trade even more realistic.
I guess. I just don't see Kirk Cousins being a backup option or
Do you see him a starting option in any team next year?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
He's consistent.
I don't unless he has a terrible year next year and falls off like Matt Ryan did. I see him as being an option for a bad team out there. That some team like the Colts that changes quarterbacks every year, or a team like that will say, hey, let's bring him. Hey, we're a quarterback away from being able to compete or whatever type of Broncos mentality. I 100% believe Kirk Cousins will be a viable option as a starter for a team out there. 100%.
I hope that's true, and it seems like you see the same way, Vince. For me, I don't think that's the case, man. I really don't.
He fought hard this year. He's still mid-tier quarterback at the very least.
Yeah, I think that there are teams where if he goes to those types of teams who are like a run and gun, not too heavy with handing off the ball to the right and left to their running back, then that's where he will fail. So if he goes somewhere where they have no stars in the backfield, no stars as a wide receiver, no guys upcoming at the tight end position, Kirk Cousins will fail. But right now he's really comfortable with the Vikings because they have Justin Jefferson. They had Dalvin Cook. Now they have Madison, who's going to most likely do the same type of job that Cook did, except he's just not as big. But I think Kirk Cousins will do fine with the Vikings this year. If he were to go to a team that is similar to the Vikings, he'll do just fine on that team. And 49ers are a similar team like that. The Browns are a similar team like that. Not that the Browns would get him, but there's a lot of teams out there that Kirk Cousins could be traded for, or Kirk Cousins could go there and get a contract after his contract is up, and he'll slide right in and he'll be fighting for that starting spot. I'm not saying all 32 teams, but there's probably like 6 or 8 teams out there where he could start, and he could not win them a championship, but he can keep them in the playoff race. So I still think Kirk Cousins is a good quarterback. He's a consistent quarterback, but he's not a Patrick Mahomes. He's not a Joe Burrow. He's not, he's not a Purdy either. Like he's below Brock Purdy. Yeah, he's below Brock Purdy in my opinion. I think he's above Jimmy G, because Jimmy G, like I said, I didn't think Jimmy G was that good. He did good last year, and that's why the Raiders got him. But now he's not looking so good because he's in a different system.
Okay, so
how it plans out.
So my thing, I thought it wasn't going to work because of the cap thing, but Niners still have 10 mil in cap, and if they traded away, and Trey Lance is 9 mil of cap, so if they traded him away, they could, and Kirk Cousins is 20 mil, so they could make it work technically if they push it out a little bit more money. But to have 20 million cap just as a backup, that's crazy to me. And then and then do you resign Kirk Cousins then, AJ?
I think it would be a renegotiated contract. Like I said, if anything, it's going to be a mid-season
and then
deal.
he would want to stay with the Niners as a backup?
Oh, I know Kyle Shanahan would try to keep him there, but
for sure, I think Kyle Shanahan and him would love to be together, but I don't know if he wants to be a backup.
I think if he is traded during midseason, he won't have that choice, right? But that's something that Kyle Shanahan might risk, especially what happened last year, the year before that, where the Niners just revolving through quarterbacks, just having him, hey, you know what? Let's renegotiate this contract for the rest of this year. This last year's your year. Let's get rid of Trey Lance. Let's get Kirk Cousins over here. Let's get a 6th round pick with that as well. And then let's finish off this season. That's all we need you for. Last year, the Niners, it was confirmed that they were talking to um, who was it, Philip Rivers, about coming and playing for
Yep.
the Niners on the Super Bowl game if they were to advance, which they should have pulled the trigger the game before, knowing how slim they were in the QB position.
For
Could have
sure.
made a huge difference. But I think that's something that is kind of like a PTSD form for this Niners coaching staff. I mean, Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch, they've been at this for, 5, I think 6 years now, and they've always had a team that's ready to contend, but they've always had the same issue every single time, and that is the QB issue. And I think, hey, you know what? If it gets rid of all of our cap, F it, it'll be worth the damn championship. I think they're at that point already.
Okay. I see it maybe as like a 5 to 1% chance of something like this happening. I would be very, very shocked. I think the Vikings would have to basically implode in the beginning of the season for the Vikings to say, hey, we're going to call it quits, trade him away. I would be very surprised. I would be very, very surprised.
Have you seen the show Quarterbacks on Netflix?
I have not. I've seen the clips that matter, but yeah, I have not seen the whole thing.
Vince, have you seen it? Well, outside of those clips, Reed, they might not have shown this in those clips, but every single game that Kirk Cousins played, he said this at least once. I knew Justin Jefferson was out there, so I just threw it up in the air.
Mm-hmm.
And every single time he said that, Justin Jefferson came down with the ball with an incredible catch. I feel like he needs, like Vince was saying, he needs a team to rely on heavily, right? So if you have teams, look at all these young teams that have new QBs, right? Let's look at the Washington Commanders. They got Sam Howell. Let's look at the Indianapolis Colts. They got Anthony Richardson. The Titans, they got Will Levis. I mean, these guys, I don't think they're going to be willing to get Kirk Cousins because, like you said, Reed, he's not going to be accepting, second string QB money. And these teams, they already got their franchise quarterback. They just need to learn. AJ, read the alerts. Sweet. I gifted a sub to another Niners fan, a zombie. How can you tell it's a Niners fan? I haven't seen any other Twitch comment out here. If you're talking about Big Money Joe, this guy is a long-term subscriber. So appreciate you, Big Money Joe. Hope you're happy there, Polar. Get out of here, bro. But I think it's going to be interesting going forward because we had these similar talks years prior. We had these similar talks about Carson Wentz, the guy you just talked about, Iceman, Matt Ryan.
Matty Ice.
We had those talks, right? And it all ended the same for both of those. We had the talks about Jimmy G. We're about to see this upcoming season as well, which I don't think is going to be well for him. And he is not the type of person who's like, oh, I got a talented guy like Devontae Adams. Let me just throw it up in the air. He's not that strong up here mentally to make those type of decisions. And it's true. I don't think so.
Pretty face.
Oh yeah, he's just pretty face and all. That's it. He's the blonde quarterback.
Okay.
I guess I can't say that because Trevor Lawrence, right? He's very talented. But I don't know. That's my take. I would say you take that object away from Kirk Cousins, you take that elite performer away, and you heard players like Justin Jefferson say, like, damn it, Kirk, throw the ball, or damn it, I'm open, just getting mad at him, not being able to make those decisions that QBs should make, quick, fast. I don't know. That's just my take.
I get you.
So this is what I think about Kirk Cousins. For the past 5 years. I haven't done the research on it, but I think it's the past 5 years. He's had over 4,000 passing yards. This past year, I think Justin Jefferson was closing in on like 1,800.
Justin Jefferson was closing in on 1,800.
Yeah, I think he was close to like 1,800 yards receiving. Jimmy G will be MVP of the crazy horn. For real, man. He's going to be out there doing some crazy things in Vegas. But I think Kirk Cousins is still a quarterback who can make the decent decisions. Maybe he does need a superstar, but what quarterback that's playing right now doesn't have a superstar on the team that they rely on, who's a successful quarterback? If we're talking about Trevor Lawrence, he had Christian Kirk this past year. If we're talking about Purdy, He had Kittle. He had a bunch of guys to throw to. That's why Purdy was successful. He had Christian McCaffrey that came mid-season who ramped up his numbers. Geno Smith had DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett. Not that Geno Smith is the top 10 quarterback in a lot of people's eyes, but there's a lot of quarterbacks out here that we talk about week in, week out, but they always have a number one wide receiver. They always have a number two wide receiver that they can rely on, or even a tight end. So I always like to bring the quarterback position to light when we're talking about talent, because Kirk Cousins doesn't have a lot of talent, but he's talented enough to get the job done, and that's what we say every single year about him. Fantasy purposes, football purposes, he's just that guy that can get the job done. He's not going to win you a championship, and not even with 2 Justin Jeffersons will he probably win you a championship. That's just not the type of quarterback that he is. I do agree with AJ that he has some faulty decision making every now and then, and that's why they lose in the playoffs, because he can't produce at the high level like all the time. But yeah, see, 1809, 128 receptions, which is pretty damn good. It's a lot of yards. But he also had Adam Thielen. Adam Thielen was not so good this past year. We saw the drop there. But he also had some tight ends where he threw a lot of touchdowns too as well. And he had Dalvin Cook. He had Madison to throw the ball to. So, I mean, he had a lot of weapons, but there's not too many quarterbacks. What I'm trying to say here is there's not too many quarterbacks that don't have weapons who produce just as much as Kirk Cousins. So Kirk Cousins is still a top 10 quarterback production-wise if you're looking at stats.
Before Matt Ryan, or I guess after Matt Ryan, now I think you could crown Kirk Cousins as the best game manager and a quarterback in the league. And that's a compliment, okay? Because there's par, above par, and below par. And Kirk Cousins is right at that par mark, right? If you give him talent, he'll put some good use to it. I put money on what Prince said. I feel like you got a little crush on Prince there, Polar. I think you should tell him how you feel. But none of that here, okay? But talking about crushes, I got some big news for me. It's not big news to anyone else. It's huge news for me. I absolutely love it. Okay, now Polar's getting a little sus here. Well, he is the good lucky one. Yeah, yes, he is. He's very good looking, and it's him and Reed. I come in dead last. I know. So this is what I really want to talk about. ESPN Monday Night Football made some huge improvements. They just fired someone. They just fired Booger McFallon. Booger repeat himself, Captain Obvious McFallon. I don't care. He's out of here. He's gone. That's all I care about.
They didn't fire him. They just demoted him.
He's gone.
Thank
He's
God,
out.
dude.
He's back behind the damn camera. Freaking horrible, dude. I hated
when he used to call games. That was the worst thing I've ever listened to. It made football unenjoyable.
It did.
It was so horrible. It was. Oh my God! It's really hard to make football so unenjoyable, and he did that so well. But best of luck to him in his future.
He always had to show his finger.
Yeah.
Like every time he talked, he was just like put it in front of his face. He was like, "Yeah."
Throwing up signs.
This team runs the ball right down the middle.
Yep.
That's all he said. All right, dude. Okay. Now Polar Knights is comparing you to a hot woman on a car show. I'm going to put it up so people don't think I'm just saying that. Vince, you are a hot woman in a car show.
I like car shows. I fit right in, I guess.
Nice. Very nice. Well, yeah, I'm super excited that Booger is out of there. Just gone. Did not like him.
Van Pelt replaced him, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's what it was.
Yeah. I like him.
But I feel like ESPN needs to do a better job Like I know I was watching some of the commentary, like for the Niners game, they're showing Trey Lance's stats, and Trey Lance, I guess now from this preseason, he's known to have a very slow start, then pick up at the very end and do pretty good. And he had a very decent game this past game, very decent, 0 sacks, touchdown, did get an interception, but I think his numbers were like 12 for 17. And they're like, "Oh, you don't look at the stats. It doesn't really justify what Trey Lance has done tonight. He's been struggling tonight." And I was just like, "What? What do you mean he's been struggling? Like, he played pretty well, like not bad." And I had some other people talk about it as well. Some other guys like the podcast I watch, Gold Rush, and they said these guys they need to actually watch the game and not just these highlights. And it's just horrible.
Yeah.
ESPN just fired everyone.
Yep. They fired like 30 people.
They did.
They got Pat McAfee, so that's all. Everything's fine.
That's huge. That's gonna be so good. Polar says nobody likes boogers. Look in the mirror. Let me know if you like it. So tomorrow, you guys, we're actually going to go live once again. We're going to do some fantasy football drafts. So we're going to talk a little bit more fantasy football because our first NSP fantasy football draft this season is this Thursday. Big Money Joe, I believe you're in this draft. So it is this Thursday. What time did I put? 6 o'clock? I think I did. I put 6 o'clock this Thursday. I got to check again. But tomorrow I will reveal the draft order. Ooh, yeah. So remember, you guys, with Sleeper Fantasy, you are able to trade your draft picks. So 100% tradable. If you want to get jazzy with it, let's say for my case and one of my leagues, I got a 3rd overall pick. I hate that pick, right? I would love to trade down and maybe get an extra 5th. That's something that I would like to do, and maybe they'll like to do that as well. We'll see. Getting the 3rd overall pick, that's a game changer. It says, I got 60 mock drafts under my belt on Sleeper. Hey, dude, good luck, bro. Good luck. I don't have to tell you good luck against me or Vince or Reed in the draft because clearly we're going to be live and you guys get to see and hear everything that we think before we even do it. So good. Yeah, repetition is good. So like I said, tomorrow we're going to be doing some live drafts. I'm going to start off with Underdog Fantasy like I normally do, and then allow y'all to help jump on here live with us, and we could do a Sleeper Fantasy live with y'all before the actual draft. Okay, so that's another aspect that we bring to this show, is that we want to make sure you guys are game time ready. You guys have anything else to announce?
No, nothing at all.
Just excited to start drafting. And then finally, I mean, I guess some of the news is dying down where players are going to get hurt, players are getting traded, players are coming back from their holdouts. So that helps for drafting purposes because now we know how the league is actually going to look when the season starts, or a little bit better insight of how it's going to look. So I'm just excited.
One more week. I am like, please, like, don't even start anyone. I'm cool. Like, I don't care if they start off rusty. Please don't start anyone. I don't know. We should see Nick Bosa getting signed in the next 2 weeks. I know that's like the biggest commotion, but there's a reason why no one's talking about it, because it's a no-brainer. The Niners are going to sign him. They have to. They're going to give him the house as he deserves. But football is here. And with that being said, remember, our schedule will be changing just a little bit. Okay, so stay tuned to that. If you guys haven't yet, join our Discord. The link is down in our description down below of this video. So make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you're subscribed. Look at our description. Join those links. We keep y'all updated, but we're still going to go live every Monday at 6:30 from here on out. Okay, if it's just one of us, so we're going to be here. Okay, so don't worry about that. But yeah, that's all I got. You guys good?
All good.
Awesome, man. Appreciate y'all. Thank y'all so much. Polar, Big Money. Big shout out to both you guys for commenting today. That's something we're going to be doing now. Just giving y'all shout outs. Thank you for being committed. And until next time, keep on grinding. Hold up. What's up?
We got a comment. Nick Day says the Finns will be the next Rams. No building for sustainment. That's what I said. I said at the beginning of the podcast.
No, Nick, we already talked about this. Sorry. Going to the next channel. Nah, I'm just kidding, bro. Heck yeah, dude. And that's what it looks like, right? With them getting Jalen Ramsey this past offseason, them going to get Tyreek Hill the season before. They look good. They look real good. And there's two major concerns when it comes to the Miami Dolphins. And if and this is one of them.
Christ.
That's one of the concerns right there.
Toxic.
Is Tua
Big playing
doesn't
stuff.
die, and the other one is what the hell are they going to do with the running back position, right? Obviously, they're not going to rely on Raheem the Dream Mostert. They're not going to look at Jeff Wilson Jr. to take on that load. It was supposed to be Devon Achane, and he just got injured. Looks like he's going to be out for a few weeks. Don't know exactly how long he's going to be out, but he should be back at least week 2 or 3. But now, favorite is Jonathan Taylor. So, great comment, Nick Day. Appreciate you being here. If you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button. And if you're feeling generous, hit that like button too. I said that in reverse, but hit that like button too. If you also want to get involved with us, we have a Discord. Join our Discord. The link is in the description down below. We keep y'all updated. We will be live tomorrow for some fantasy football. Yes, we do fantasy football. We'll be going live at 6 o'clock.
Yeah,
we good with that? Yeah, that's new. I mean, it was a pop up. So 6 o'clock tomorrow, we'll be there, Central Time. Awesome.
All right.
Awesome. But thank you all so much. Until next time, keep on grinding.